हम बताते दुनिया को, हमसे पूछती दुनिया,
गम में कितनी लज्जत है, हम हुसैन वाले
हैं, हम हुसैन वाले हैं, हम हुसैन वाले हैं।
खुल्क है मुरव्वत है, इल्म फन है हिकमत है, खून में शराफत है,
हम हुसैन वाले हैं, हम हुसैन वाले हैं, हम हुसैन वाले हैं।
चाहे हम जहाँ भी हो, दिल ही करबला में है, चाहे हम जहाँ भी हो, दिल ही करबला में है, मुस्तकिल सुकूनत है।
हम हुसैन वाले हैं, हम हुसैन वाले हैं, हम हुसैन वाले हैं।
ये हमारी किस्मत है, हम हुसैन वाले हैं, हम हुसैन वाले हैं, हम हुसैन वाले हैं। सलवात।
Thank you very much, Sara. We are now very fortunate to have Hujjat al-Islam, Dr. Mohammad Ali Shomali, who has graced us with his presence. Please welcome with salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Hujjat al-Islam, Dr. Mohammad Ali Shomali is a graduate of the Islamic Seminaries of Qum in Iran. After completing his BA and MA degrees in Western philosophy at the University of Tehran, he earned his doctorate in philosophy from the University of Manchester. He's currently the founding director of the International Institute for Islamic Studies in Qum. He is also the founding director of the RecitalAt International Institute, which is devoted to Islamic curriculum development and educational training, among other initiatives. Please welcome him with salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Yes. Salamun alaykum wa rahmatullah. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين أجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف. First, I congratulate Imam of our time and then all of you for these great occasions that we have. Birth anniversary of Abu Abdullah al-Husayn alayhi salam and Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas alayhi salam and Imam Zaynul Abideen alayhi salam. And in general, month of Sha'ban is a very blessed and happy month, and inshallah we are going to witness birth anniversary of Imam Mahdi Ajjalallah Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif. I was thinking what would be a kind of appropriate topic for tonight, because it somehow belongs to different personalities. And also we are in the month of Sha'ban. And also I thought we live in a time that also there are lots of, sufferings and lots of problems. So I thought, let us discuss happiness tonight. So inshallah, tonight we want to talk about happiness and khushhali, as we say in Farsi and some other languages. This is a very important topic, and it's not only important for every believer, but it's also something that for philosophers also is very important. Many years ago, maybe 10, 12 years ago, we had a PhD thesis on comparison between Mullah Sadra's understanding of happiness and some Western philosophers. So it's a very deep topic. I try, inshallah, to open this discussion tonight, and inshallah, maybe then, if Allah gives tawfiq, we can have a series on this, inshallah. I would like to start with this beautiful verse of the Qur'an, so that all our majlis, inshallah, will be blessed with the light of Qur'an. So please say salawat. In Surah Yunus, verse 57 says, Ya ayyuhan nas, qad ja'atkum maw'idhatun min rabbikum, wa shifa'un lima fis sudur, wa hudan wa rahmatun lil mu'minin. O mankind, people, Ya ayyuhan nas, it's not only for Muslims, for, everyone is called to benefit. Something has come from your Lord to you. This refers to the Qur'an, which is maw'idhatun min rabbikum. Qur'an is a maw'idha from your Lord. Who can better give me maw'izah than the one who has created me and sustained me? Yeah, the best maw'izah he can give me. And Qur'an is a maw'izah. It means, sometimes when we have discussion about akhlaq, we say maw'izah is a specific instruction. Wa'iz is different from a teacher of akhlaq. A teacher of akhlaq can teach tens, hundreds of people can listen to, and everyone see, how they can implement. But wa'iz is the one that should give a specific advice. Like a physician who should examine you and give you a specific prescription. So Quran is maw'izah. So every person, young, old, man, woman, they can find what they need in the Quran. Just they need to tune themselves to the Quran. وَالشِّفَاءٌ لِمَا فِي الصُّدُورِ. Quran is healing. Like the other ayah, نُنَزِّلُ مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ مَا هُوَ شِفَاءٌ وَرَحْمَةٌ. So Quran is healing for what is in our chest. The problems that are related to our mind or our heart. Both are in the chest. It's not like a brain which is not in the chest. Physical brain is in head. But mind is related also to heart. And it's related to the chest. So sometimes we suffer from problems that affect our understanding. There are viruses that affect our understanding. For example, if I am suspicious, this makes me unable to understand. Someone does something without bad intention, I interpret it as something bad. Sometimes even people want to be kind to me. I say there must be a reason that they are kind to me. So if you are suspicious, no matter what people do, you always have one fixed interpretation. It's a problem. This is a virus if someone is suspicious. Sometimes people are suspicious about their wives or husbands, makes life very difficult for both of them, not just for the one side. So it's a problem. Some people are pessimistic. It's a problem. They are always looking at negative side. They are always dismissing the positive side. This is also a problem. Also, there can be problems in the heart. Someone can be selfish, which is a very big problem. Sometimes can be greedy. Sometimes can be jealous. So Qur'an is shifa'un lima fi sudur for both kinds of problems, whether there are problems with our understanding or problems with our feelings or qualities of the heart. Qur'an is shifa for all of that. Wahudan. Not only Qur'an gives you shifa, but Qur'an also gives you direction that now that you are healthy, where should you go? You know? Because I need to get rid of my illness, but then I have to be given direction. Hudan. So gives direction, warahma. Quran is mercy. In the discussion about mercy, we say that there are many, many things that in the Quran are attributed to rahmah. Rahmah helps with creation, with sustenance, with guidance, with forgiveness. Everything is related to rahmah. Then after this ayah 58. قل بفضل الله وبرحمته فبذلك فليفرحوا هو خير مما يجمعون. We receive this shifa, this mau'izah, this guidance, this mercy. Everything that we need, we receive because of what? بفضل الله ورحمته. Because of Allah's favor and Allah's mercy. Tonight is the birth of Hazrat Abbas. What does Fazl mean? We say he's Abul Fazl. So Abul Fazl means the one who is expected to give Fazl. So what is Fazl? Fazl is different from giving. Fazl is even different from gifting. Giving is very general. Sometimes I give something as a return. Sometimes I have borrowed and then I give it back. Gift means it's one side. It's without, a prerequisite. I gift. But Fazl, in my understanding, is when someone gives you something that you don't own and he doesn't owe to you. Okay? It's unexpected gift that goes beyond your expectation. This is Fazl. I repeat. Unexpected gift which goes beyond your expectation. For example, if someone gives me a little money without reason, it's a gift. Or if I have worked for someone and he gives my salary, my wage, and something extra, a little extra. For example, he should give me, 1,000 pounds for certain hours. He gives me £5 extra. This is not called fadl. We don't say this person is Zul Fadl. Yeah, because he has just given a little extra. If he gives 100, no fadl. He has just given my right. He gives a little bit extra, again, no fadl. If he gives me so much that I am not expecting and I wonder, that is fadl. So if he has to give me 100 but he gives me 500, This is fadl. So fadl is even more than generosity. It's a high level of generosity. So when we say Hazrat Abul Fadl, it means that he is someone that with his giving, he surprises you. And you know, sometimes people, when they give too much, then you wonder, did they make mistake? Maybe they didn't count properly. So this is fadl. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قُلْ بِفَضْلِ اللَّهِ وَبِرَحْمَتِهِ. It's all happening because of fadl of Allah and His mercy. Indeed, Allah, not only He has fadl, we say He has great fadl. إِنَّكَ ذُو الْفَضْلِ الْعَظِيمِ أُرْزُقْنِي وَارْزُقْ عَيَالِي إِنَّكَ ذُو الْفَضْلِ الْعَظِيمِ. Not only He has fadl, He has great favor. So, everything happens because of fazl of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and rahmah. This is a great bashara. Do you know why this is bashara? Why we can benefit from shifa, why we can benefit from mu'izah, why we can have guidance? Because of fazl of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is a great bashara. Why? Because this means that me and you don't need to create anything. We don't need, to go to air, to Mars. Just receive fazl of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just don't deprive yourself. We need to just be good receivers. مَنْ لَمْ يَجْعَلِ اللَّهُ لَهُ نُورًا فَمَا لَهُ مِنْ نُورٍ. We are not fabricating or creating or inventing light. Light comes from Him. Everything comes from Him. We just need to open ourselves. So this is a bashara that we are with someone that he is just there to give. The only thing is, be a good receiver. Be polite and be kind to others. Yeah? If there is a generous person distributing gifts, what should we do? Be kind to others. He doesn't like us, to annoy other people and, put everyone, behind and say, I want to take myself. And also be kind and polite. Then Allah says, فَبِذَلِكَ فَلْيَفْرَحُوا. Those who know Arabic, they know فَلْيَفْرَحُوا. This is fa and لِيَفْرَحُوا. لِيَفْرَحُوا is فعل amr. فعل amr for the third party. Plural third party male is لِيَفْرَحُوا. So Allah says, because of this, they should be happy. If we know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, should we be happy or sad? We should be happy. Yeah? If you have father, mother, I don't know, someone who takes care of all your needs and gives you even more, gives himself or herself to you, should you be happy or should you be sad? If we are not happy, is because we have not known Him. We have not really understood the level of His fadl and rahmah. فَبِذَلِكَ فَلْيَفْرَحُوا هُوَ خَيْرٌ مِّمَّا يَجْمَعُونَ. This fadl and rahmah of Allah is better than money that you collect. Sometimes, we say, this day was very good day. Why? Because I made this much money. My business, today was very good. I have a good house, good car. Okay, you can be happy for this, but this is limited. The main thing is that don't get excited by these things. لكي لا تأسوا على ما فاتكم ولا تفرحوا لكي لا تأسوا على ما فاتكم ولا تفرحوا بما آتاكم. Be happy with Allah, not with little money that you have been given, little position or fame or power that you have been given. فَبِذَلِكَ فَلْيَفْرَحُوا. Because of this, they should be happy. not because of other things, because of having Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is the beginning of our discussion, and if you want to reflect more, so please go to Surah Yunus, verse 57 and 58. Now I want to read for you some hadith and a little bit open this discussion about joy and happiness. We have many hadiths about making people happy. This is a very important aspect of Islamic community, Islamic collective life, that every person should try to make other people happy. If happiness was not a great thing, why we are asked to make each other happy? It's very important to make each other happy. If you go to Al-Kafi, one of our 4 major collections of hadith, you find there are many hadiths about making mu'mineen happy. So I read for you some of these hadiths and inshallah try to explain, and then we continue inshallah this discussion. For example, there is a hadith from Imam Raza alayhi salam. Man farraja an mu'minin farraja qalbahu yawm al-qiyamah. Something like this. My picture is not completely clear. Whoever helps a mu'min to have no concern, no worry. Sometimes you have ham. Ham means concern in Arabic. And then someone comes and does tafrijul ham, means to deliver you from that concern. So for example, I am ill, or someone in family is ill. A person comes and talks to me and helps me, gives me hope, shows me, for example, doctor says, other people have got this. In different ways tries to make me happy and tell me that you can overcome this concern. You are greater than this concern. Imam Raza says, on the day of judgment, your heart will become happy, will be made happy, because you made a mu'mina happy in dunya. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Inna fil jannati daran. In heaven there is a house. يقال له دار الفرح. This is called house of joy, house of happiness. Everyone says, how can we get to that house? I want to go. Imagine, heaven is full of joy. Yeah? But then, inside heaven, if something is Darul Farah, means you are wholeheartedly happy. Yeah? You are eternally happy. لا يدخلها إلا من فرح يتام المؤمنين. That is especially reserved for people make orphans happy. If you can make orphans happy, that's the greatest opportunity. You have to go to that house. In another hadith, Rasulullah said, إن في الجنة دارا يقال لها دار الفرح لا يدخلها إلا من فرح الصبيان. No one can go into that house unless you have made children happy. And orphans are also children, because we say in fiqh, لا يتم بعد البلوغ. If someone becomes mature, orphan is not called, we know. So if you make children happy, especially orphans, then Allah will make you especially happy in heaven. in Al-Kafi, volume 2, page 188, Babu idkhal surur ala al-mu'minin. Imagine how much we have opportunities. If sometimes it takes me just 1 minute to make another person happy, even sometimes less than a minute to make someone happy. Yeah, we shouldn't miss the opportunity. And we all need, these days especially, to make each other happy, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله. Narrator of this hadith is Abu Hamza Somali from Imam Baqir from Rasulullah. Man sarra mu'minan faqad sarrani. Rasulullah says, if you make a mu'min happy, you have made me happy. I am sure everyone loves to make Rasulullah happy. And maybe you think, unfortunately today Rasulullah is not with us, otherwise I would have made him happy. I would have offered him, whatever he needs. But the Rasulullah says, make a mu'min happy, you have made me happy. And if you make me happy, what happens? وَمَنْ سَرَّنِي فَقَدْ سَرَّ اللَّهِ. If you make me happy, you make Allah happy. Of course, this is not emotional happiness for Allah. Allah doesn't have emotion. But it means that Allah would be pleased with you. Look at this beautiful hadith. Jabir from Imam Baqir alayhi salam. Now, after majlis, you, for example, greet your brothers and sisters at home, in work, everywhere. You can just be, sad, or you can just ignore them, or you can make a little effort to smile. It makes a big difference. Make niyyah that for the sake of Allah, I want to meet my brother or, for example, sisters, their sister, happy, just with a smile. Man tabassama. Tabassumur rajul fi wajhi akhi hasanatun. If you smile to the face of your brother, and the same for sisters, is hasana. Wasarful qadha anhu hasana. If something has gone to the eye of your brother or sister, qadha. Amirul Mu'minin said, sabartu wa fil ayn qadha. Or in dua nudba we say, hal qadhiyat aynu. Sometimes something goes at dust, or something goes inside and the eye is in pain. If you take this from the eye of a mu'min, this is hasana. Hasana is not just salat and Qur'an. They are hasana, of course, very important, but being kind to each other is also hasana. وَمَا عُبِدَ اللَّهُ بِشَيْءٍ. This is Imam Baqir alayhi salam. I am not saying this. Imam Baqir alayhi salam saying, مَا عُبِدَ اللَّهُ بِشَيْءٍ أَحَبَّ إِلَى اللَّهِ. Allah has not been worshipped or served by anything that is more lovable to him than min idkhal surur ala al-mu'min. To make a mu'min happy. For the sake of Allah, make someone happy. Of course, it doesn't mean that we stop our, salat, but they are all important. But a moment after doing these wajibat, then when you are kind, you are considerate, you are manifesting rahmah of Allah to other people, this is what Allah loves. Because here you are not selfish. I can do some ibadat and be selfish. Yeah? Sometimes even in our ibadat we are selfish. For example, we go to the shrine and we want to be very close to the chamber, to the zari, when it's near the head. Sometimes you see people say 2 rakat salat and leave. They give chance to other people. Sometimes you see people keep praying. And they are sitting sometimes, as soon as they see someone is coming, they start praying. So this is selfishness sometimes. I'm not one to judge, because sometimes maybe they have been asked by people to do this, but it can be sometimes selfishness. I want to have this place for me only. I don't want to give chance to anyone else. So there is a chance that even our ibadat, our acts of worship, sometimes can be mixed with our ego. Yeah? Ego is not always, to, for example, take money of people or, right of people. Ego can sometimes be in depriving people from religious things. But when I am trying to make a mu'min happy, this is less likely to be out of my ego, because I am going out of my way to make someone happy. In another hadith, we have very beautiful hadith. Actually, there is a chapter, but I don't have time. That if you have ability to help people with their hajat, qadha hajat al-mu'min. This was just to make them happy. But many times people cannot be made happy unless you also help them with their needs, yeah? So for example, if my child is lost and I'm looking for my child, you cannot make a joke and expect me to become happy. You have to help me to find my child. Yeah? So, if you can help people with their hajat, the reward is many, many times more than umrah. Umrah takes few days at least, sometimes 1 week, 2 weeks. But just help people with their hajat is more rewarded than several umrah. So, we have to look for opportunities to make people happy. But what about ourselves? This part is very obvious, and I think more or less we know. How much we practice is another thing. But sometimes people think that it's for others, but for myself, I don't need happiness. Maybe I need to be always sad. I need to always, look very serious, for example, and, The answer is we have to find the balance. We have to understand to what extent and in what aspect we are supposed to be happy. Okay? For example, if I am happy superficially and I have deep problems and I don't feel anything about them, I'm just ignoring them. Is this wise? Is this what Islam would be happy with? No. Suppose my family, my children are in big problems, but I'm always happy. I go with my friends and enjoy ourselves. We watch, we go to coffee shop, etc. I'm really happy, and my family are suffering. Is this a good thing? Or for example, a student who doesn't do his study, he doesn't do his homework assignment, but he's always happy, going around and taking friends outside, etc. He's very happy, very joyful, but he's not doing anything serious. This is not good. If we want to analyze, we can say we have 3 levels of happiness. One level is the lowest, the most superficial one, and that is when we do something that gives us physical pleasure. Physical happiness. This is the lowest level. I am physically happy because I am eating something delicious, for example. Or I have very comfortable bed. I sleep, everyone is going to work and study, but I sleep till 10, 11, 12. I am happy. My wife says, why you don't work? I say, I'm very happy. Everyone should be happy. You can try also to be happy. So this kind of happiness is the lowest level of happiness. This is because you are satisfied your physical desires. You get some pleasure. But this is not what we are talking about. Sometimes there is middle level happiness. And that is when you satisfy what we call wahm. Human beings have certain types of desires which animals don't have. But these desires which are only available in us are not intellectual. This is where we are in transit between being animal to a human being. For example, no animal has interest in becoming famous. Yeah? If you say to a cow, we can make you very happy. We put your picture on, every bottle of milk. The cow doesn't bother about this. So, give me more, grass. I don't bother about fame. I don't want fans. I want, grass. So, for animals, fame is nothing. We make you leader of all these cows. I don't want to become the leader of these cows. I am leader of myself. So, they don't have these kinds of pleasures that we have, and sometimes, or most of the time, for these, even we can kill each other, fight each other. If not all, most of the wars in the world are because of this kind of things. Even people are happy sometimes to lose their life to become famous or to be considered as a hero. Sometimes people who have no faith, no akhirah, still they are happy to be killed so that people afterwards they say he's a hero. What is the benefit of people telling me, you are a hero when I die, if I don't believe in the hereafter? But people get pleasure. Even people get pleasure from thinking that people respect them. Even thinking gives them pleasure. But the third level, which is only available in human beings, is when you satisfy your intellectual desires. When your aql is pleased. For example, when you gain knowledge and ma'rifah, a practical, of course, one, not something that doesn't make any difference. When you learn something that makes you better understand the meaning of your life, what type of pleasure you get? You get human pleasure. This is not available in animals, and this is not available in the people who are in between. They say that Shaykh Tusi Ridwanullah Ta'ala alayh used to sometimes in the middle of night in his study and research finding answer for some of the questions. And in the night he was so happy that he was saying, and sometimes maybe going out of his room without disturbing anyone, and saying, أين للملوك وأبناء الملوك من هذه اللذة. How can kings and children of kings find this pleasure? But this pleasure is for someone in that caliber. If you say, to someone, you study for years and then you find, something new, or your question is answered, you get a pleasure which is greater than anything, they may not understand. Yeah? Like a child, they don't understand the pleasure of marriage, for example. The child doesn't understand. The child, thinks chocolate is more important than marriage. Yeah? Because the child doesn't understand. We don't understand the pleasure of Imam Zaynul Abideen when he's making dua. Yeah? We don't understand. Because we are compared to him like a child. But if we taste at least that pleasure, then we know that is much greater than any pleasure that we have been experiencing so far. Therefore, Imam says, "Man dhal ladhi zaqa halawata mahabbatika farama minka badala." Who has ever tasted the sweetness of your love and then has looked for alternative? If you look for alternative for religion, it's because you have not experienced true religion. There's nothing better than faith. So, we need to train ourselves to go for the highest level of pleasure. If we want to experience human life, if we want to experience faith life, first we have to be true human beings and true mu'min. Yeah? We cannot be mu'min without being good human beings. This comes together. So, I read one hadith from Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salam to see that how we should find balance in the life. And let me see also time. Yes. So maybe this is my last point, and inshallah I hope we can continue this discussion sometime. I have a lecture also on this topic of how to divide your time, and plan your day. Amir al-Mu'minin says, اجتهدوا في أن يكون زمانكم 4 ساعات. Work hard so that you can have your time divided into 4 parts. Sa'a doesn't necessarily mean 60 minutes. This is a new thing. In the past, sa'a meant a portion of time. So try to have 4 elements in your life and give them time. Sa'atun limunajat Allah. Part of your time should be between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This gives you intellectual pleasure. This gives you deep pleasure. This gives you eternal pleasure. This gives you a pleasure that can endure and survive death. Sa'atun li'amr al-ma'ash. You need also part of your time for earning halal rizq and look after your needs, your family, so that you have respectful life. You don't want to be burdened on others, etc. This is also good. This gives you pleasure with respect to your physical needs and also other needs. Sometimes with the money you can also go for learning, for ziyarah, etc. You can do charity work. ساعة لمعاشرة الإخوان والثقات. We all need, these are not to be necessarily equal, but we need also a slot of time for meeting good people. Human beings need to meet each other. You know how much we suffered during COVID? Yeah? And unfortunately, we haven't yet still been able to go back to what we used to be. Inshallah, we should, do more than before so that we do qaza for what we have missed. Meeting other people, especially mu'mineen, good people, virtuous people, as-thiqat, people that you can rely, is also a very important part of human life. If we don't meet, if we don't interact with family, with friends, community, then we are going to lose a lot in our iman and in our humanity even. Even humanity is a matter of being in touch. And these are the people that يعرفونكم عيوبكم ويخلصون لكم في الباطن. I especially say this to my young, brothers and sisters, but everyone needs this. Who is a good friend? a good friend is very sincere and honest with me and tell me my problems. Unfortunately, we are run away from people who tell us our problems. But if someone loves me, should tell me my problem, not in front of others. Yeah? من وعظ أخاه سرا فقد زانه ومن وعظ أخاه علانية فقد شانه. We should say problems in private. But I should be very happy that I have a friend that tells me my problems. But sometimes in schools, in universities, if someone tells us our problems, we say, this is not my friend anymore. I just want that always support me. Whatever I do, I have a problem with my parents, that you are right. I don't go home, you are right. This is not a good friend. A good friend is that sometimes makes you laugh and sometimes may make you cry out of honesty. So, Amir al-Mu'minin says, ساعة لمناجاة الله ساعة لأمر المعاش ساعة لمعاشرة الإخوان والثقات الذين يعرفون عيوبكم ويخلصون لكم في الباطل وساعة تخلون فيها للذاتكم في غير محرم. And you need also some time for pleasure which is not haram, for halal pleasure. It can be having good meal, it can be, traveling, it can be spending time with your family, it can be playing, it can be watching a good film, but should be something which is not haram. Haram doesn't give us real pleasure. Haram is like someone who is thirsty and drinks salty water. You enjoy for seconds, but then your thirst becomes more. So, should all our life be to just get lazza? No. Should we disregard having lazza? No. We should find a balance. Should we ignore ordinary or, kind of, you can say, worldly lazza? Again, no. Islam is not saying, you should not have any lazza in food or etc., looking at, flower, using perfume. No, you can have and you need to have this type of lazza. Because your heart may rebel against you if you deprive your heart from this kind of lazza. But what is important is not to be restricted to this. Know that greater lazza still is waiting for you. So enjoy what other people enjoy if it is halal, but say it should be at the service of me reaching a higher goal. Like for example, maybe as a student, I am in the dorm, I can enjoy my food, my meal, I can enjoy walking, I can enjoy a sport, but I shouldn't forget that my main pleasure comes when I succeed in my study. Yeah? If I day and night study and don't do anything, then maybe after some time I develop some illness or sickness. I need to look after my body. I need to look after my physical, desires to a certain extent. But the greater pleasure comes when we develop our virtues, when we satisfy our intellectual desires, when we work for something that gives us pleasure in the hereafter. So, we can say without any exaggeration that the whole life of Iman is a matter of going after pleasure. But what type of pleasure? What is Sa'ada? Sa'ada means happiness. But what kind of happiness? Who is happier than Amirul Mu'minin? Who is happier than Imam Zaynul Abideen? Who is happier than Imam Husayn alayhi salam? If you look at the level of joy that they had in their life, the level of feeling satisfaction They were the happiest people. But it doesn't mean that they didn't have, physical pain. They had physical pain. But they were happiest people. And this is still in dunya. In the hereafter, they would be, only happy, and others who have not worked on the other side would not be happy. So Amir al-Mu'minin says, بهذه الساعة تقدرون على الثلاث ساعات. With this fourth one, you can then do justice to other three. So even for your munajat, for ma'ash, and for relation with mu'mineen and friends, you need lazza, which is not haram. Okay? لا تحدثوا أنفسكم بفقر ولا بطول عمر. Find a balance. Never say to yourself, I will become poor, I will become poor, I will suffer, my children will be bad, my husband is going to leave me, my wife is going to betray me. Why you keep saying these bad things to yourself? On the other hand, don't dismiss the problems and say, I am going to live 1,000 years and I am going to have no problem in the world. Then you dismiss the risks. So you have to find the balance. اجعلوا أنفسكم حظا من الدنيا بإعطائها ما تشتهي من الحلال وما لا يثلم المروءة. Amir al-Mu'minin says, for your nafs, give her what needs from dunya, but min al halal, it should be halal, number one. Number two, something which is not in conflict with muru'ah. Sometimes there are things which are halal, but it would damage your reputation. There are people who do something, we say, why you do, for example, they say, Marja said it's halal. Yes, Marja said it's halal, but he didn't say that this is advisable. Yeah? For example, if you eat food walking, take a, meal, for example, I don't know, biryani and curry, and while you are walking, and, talking, you are eating and, drawing. Maybe if you are, for example, outside city, that's halal. But is it advisable? Is it a life that a mu'min would do? Or mu'min try to behave in the way that would be very honored by others? Yeah? Maybe for a man to go outside, for example, without covering, some part of his, I don't know, shoulder, etc. Maybe it's halal. But is it advisable? Is it something which is compatible with muru'ah? So Amir al-Mu'minin says lazza should be not haram and should not conflict with muru'ah, with novelty. Wama la sarafa fi, and should not be done in excess. Okay? For example, I say, ice cream is very good, but then I, every day, for example, take, 50 ice creams. It's israf. It's too much. I say, for example, drink is good, but I take too many, drinks. وَاسْتَعِينُوا بِذَلِكَ عَلَىٰ أُمُورِ الدِّينِ. Amir al-Mu'minin says, okay, give halal and, noble kind of pleasure to your nafs, so that your nafs then listens to you when you want to do something for your religion. It's like a horse. You give food to the horse, but then you tell the horse, take me to wherever I want to go. Your body and your nafs must be fed by you, but must be obedient to you. Unfortunately, sometimes we ask the horse, where should I go so that you enjoy more? It's the way, we look at our nafs. Where do you enjoy more? I go there. Where should I live that you enjoy more? I should ask my horse, or my horse should listen to me. I should ask my nafs and body, or my body and nafs should ask me. So this is the question. So Amir al-Mu'minin says, وَاسْتَعِينُوا بِذَلِكَ عَلَىٰ أُمُورِ الدِّينِ فَإِنَّهُ رُوِيَ لَيْسَ مِنَّا. My last sentence. ليس منا من ترك دنياه لدينه أو ترك دينه لدنيا. It's not one of us who disregards dunya for religion, abandons dunya, doesn't do anything for dunya, for body, for health, for job, rest. Just he says, I am focusing on religion. He's not one of us. Or if someone does everything for dunya and akhirah is not important, we should have both. But when we say both, it doesn't mean equal. Remember, feed the horse, but tell the horse where to take you. Okay? You don't neglect the horse, but you decide. So when you say deen and dunya, doesn't mean equal. Means have dunya for the service of religion, for the service of your faith, for the service of your virtues and humanity. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this very blessed night to help us in our life struggle, so that inshallah we will be always well oriented. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us overcome any obstacle on our way towards Him. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us to establish a community which is fulfilling the requirements of being a community of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to strengthen ties of brotherhood and sisterhood among us. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless the souls of all marhumin, especially those who have rights upon us, those who have given us this faith, this iman, this aqidah, this connection with Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. May Allah inshallah bless the souls of all of them. And may Allah inshallah give shifa to all people who are ill. May Allah give hajat of all mu'mineen and mu'minat, especially those who have asked us to pray for them. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hasten the coming of Imam Mahdi ajalallah ta'ala farajahu sharif. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us and take us to the direction that we would bring joy to the heart of Imam Mahdi ajalallah ta'ala farajahu sharif. And we especially don't want to be additional pain for Imam Mahdi ajalallah ta'ala farajahu sharif. May Allah give long life to our maraj, to our ulama, to elderly members of community, to volunteers, to teachers, everyone who is bringing something good to us. May Allah give them inshallah very blessed and long life. And may Allah include us among the people that are grateful for all His blessings. Blessings that we have received or blessings that Allah has given others. As mu'min, we want to be grateful for all blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to any person, to anyone. Inshallah, in these days and nights that we are approaching middle of Sha'ban, we should try to do something extra, some more dua, some reflection, some ziyarah, so that inshallah for the 15th of Sha'ban, we are full prepared inshallah for connection to Imam of our time. Thank you very much. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.
Thank you very much. Shaykh, we have some time for questions, if that's okay?
Sure.
Any questions from the gents and ladies?
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum.
Thank you for your lecture. Really appreciate it. I had a question. You know, when you talk about happiness and when we reflect on our journeys to happiness, towards the beginning of the lecture you mentioned Surah Yunus, Ayah 57, where we are asked to take happiness because it is given by Allah.
Yeah.
But when we look at Surah Sharah, I think I might have the name wrong, and Allah talks about expanding of the chest.
Yes.
Alam nashra laka sadra wa waza'na anka wizra. Inna ma'al usri yusra. Inna ma'al usri yusra. to what extent is that journey to Yusra, does it have to go through difficulty? And I think I want to reflect on that beginning part of the ayat where Allah says, Inna ma'al. Does that happen alongside, or is that a linear journey? And if it is a linear journey, then perhaps are we getting stuck on this idea that we have to go through difficulty in order to get to happiness, whereas happiness is just given? And I wanted to know your thoughts on that.
Yeah, very good question. So, we said there are 3 levels. When it comes to the first and second level, it's not possible to have always happiness. Because dunya, this world, is world of conflicts. Yeah? World of competition, world of shortage. We cannot have every person physically happy. Some people become ill, some people have accidents. Yeah? So, but when it comes to the third level, everyone can be happy. There is no limit, there is no restriction. Every person can be deeply happy when it comes to the intellectual happiness. Okay? Now, with the first and second, there are lots of difficulties expected. لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي كَبَدٍ. We have created man in difficulty. Allah said to Adam, be very careful. If shaitan sends you outside, you will have suffering. لا يخرجنكما من الجنة فتشقى. Okay? So, in the first level and second level, there are problems. But the good news is that إن مع العسر يسرا. It's not that it's only problem. Whenever there is problem, there is also help. And a mu'min knows that Allah would never leave him or her alone. Okay? Just we need to ask for help and be patient. And interestingly, it doesn't say إن بعد العسر يسرا. It says مع العسر يسرا. So with difficulty there is ease. Not that later it comes. So it can be together. And also another good news is that human beings have great capacity to cope with problems if they are prepared internally. Maybe sometimes, when I am challenged, I think this is end of my capacity. I cannot take more than this. Yeah? But then, you see, you went to more difficulty and still you are okay. You go to, like for example, a student in primary school gets for example, maths paper. Says this was the most difficult, exam, and I don't think there can be any exam more difficult than this one. But then he goes to secondary school, that was like just drinking water. So we have unlimited capacity for coping with these problems and come successful. We should not lose our morale. We should not lose our hope. Yeah? And unfortunately, whether we like it or not, 99%, maybe 99.99% of people, if they are not challenged, they don't grow. Someone has to challenge us so that we grow. Many of the things that you know and you have learned and skills that you have got, if there was no need, then you would not have done so. Either you have need to make money out of this, or you want to be respected by people. But imagine if you were the person that whatever you wanted, you had, you would not learn any science, you would not learn any skill. So we have to be challenged so that we grow. Any other question?
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum.
Quick question, Sheikh. Thank you. Wonderful talk. So you spoke about 3 types or 3 levels of happiness. I think perhaps above of intellectual desire, there is also one more level, which is love, right? And the type of love is a bit different from the other three. And it's just completely categorized of something else, that there is no much calculation when we speak about love of Allah. Any sort of comment on that one?
I think true love is intellectual. Although in some literature, they try to say either you go by aql or by heart. Either you go by reasoning or, love. But Islamically, true love comes with aql, with ma'rifah, with knowledge, with understanding. Therefore, it's not emotional.
It's not emotional.
Yeah, it's intellectual.
No, it's not emotional, but I think there is a subtle change, subtle difference between intellect and love. They are pointing to the same thing, but they're addressing different aspects of that.
Aql in Islamic sense comes with love, comes with iman, comes with virtues. Aql is not just reason. Therefore, we prefer to use intellect. So aql is automatically coming with not being selfish. Yeah. So therefore, we say Muawiyah didn't have aql. Amir al-Mu'minin, said, "Wallahi ma Muawiyatu ba'adaha minni." Muawiyah had reason, but not intellect. Yeah. So intellect comes with love. So who were the greatest lovers? Those who were greatest in aql. Therefore, we have junudul aql and junudul jahl. And junudul aql, if you have the army of aql, you have also love, you have happiness. Actually, in Hadith junudul aql says one of the junud of aql is nishat and one of them is farah. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I know there are other questions, but I think time's running short, so we'll end there. Muhammad wa al Muhammad salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Thank you very much.
Brothers and sisters, just letting you know about our regular programs. Next Friday, we will be having a talk about the refugee crisis. We'll have a panel of speakers on the day, including Fatima Kazaz, who is currently on her way to Calais. She'll be talking about the refugee crisis there. We have a group of 17 people from this organization who are going to Calais tonight. They'll be spending the weekend there to find out what the situation is over there. And like I said, Fatima will be speaking about that next week. She'll also be joined by Neil Jameson and Maimouna Osman, who will also be speaking about the refugee crisis. We have our regular programs which continue during the week and the weekend. We have tuition classes, we have tafsir classes, we have Husseini Madrasa. On Tuesdays we have yoga classes and ladies exercise classes. On Thursdays we have our Dua Kamal program and Surah Yasin program. On Friday we have a regular lecture program. On Saturdays we have ladies walking in the morning. Please do join us for all of these events and a lot more. If you'd like to find out more, please visit our website or speak to any member of the executive committee. وأنا have زيارة صلوات على محمد وآل محمد.
زيارة. السلام عليك يا سيدي يا مولاي يا رسول الله. السلام عليك يا سيدي يا مولاي يا نبي الله. السلام عليك يا سيدي يا مولاي محمد بن عبد الله ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك وعلى ابن أمك أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب وسي رسول رب العالمين. السلام عليك وعلى بزعتك الصديقة الطاهرة فاطمة الزهراء سيد نساء العالمين. السلام عليك وعلى زوجتك الوفية خديجة الكبرى أم المؤمنين. السلام عليك وعلى ولديك الإمامين الحسن والحسين سيدي شباب أهل الجنة منا. السلام عليك وعلى أئمة المسلمين من ذرية ولدك الحسين علي السجاد ومحمد الباقر وجعفر الصادق والموسى الكاظم وعلي رضا ومحمد الجواد وعلي الهادي والحسن العسكري والهجة بن الحسن المهدي. السلام عليك يا سيدي يا مولاي صاحب الزمان، أجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله مخرجك ودهورك، وجعلنا من أنصارك وأعوانك والمستشهدين بين يديك. السلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. صلوات.
Brothers and sisters, please can I request you to recite Amma Yujib 5 times for Murtaza Pir Muhammad, who's unwell in Toronto. Amma Yujibul Mutarra Idha Da'ah wa Yakshifu Su. Amma Amma أما يجيب المضطر صلوات على محمد وآل Muhammad. Brothers and sisters, we will shortly be serving some ice cream, so for the